Hello everyone, so recently I've been experimenting with Godswords and wondered, which is better, special attacks or passive effects? Each Godsword has a different special attack, which are unique abilities for certain types of weapons. Special attacks themselves can range from dealing more damage to healing health and even biting a target. However, not all weapons have a special attack. In order to use a special attack on Legacy, equip the specific weapon and go into the Combat tab. There you will see a bar with Special written on it below the Combat Style Training Experience selection. This bar is known as the Special Attack Energy, which has a maximum of 100% and will drain by a percentage depending on the requirement of the special attack of the weapon. Now with a weapon that has a special attack, all that is required to do is click this bar whilst in combat and a special attack animation will commence. In order to use a special attack on the evolution of combat, adrenaline is required and the amount is dependent on the requirement of the special attack of the weapon. This time, there is an ability called Special Attack in the Constitution tab, and the ability needs to be clicked on while in combat for the special attack to commence. So in similar fashion, Legacy uses a special attack energy bar, while on the other hand, Evolution of Combat uses an adrenaline bar. For each of the 4 Godswords, they all have a special attack unique amongst themselves. However, in addition to their special attack, they also have a passive effect. Passive effect, in short, means an overtime occurrence, or effect that happens within a time period, and each Godsword's passive effect is very similar to their special attack counterpart. The chance of the effect activating is 1/4, or 25%. I will be going over the descriptions of each Godsword special attack and their passive effects as well. Starting off first in the set is Armadyl Godsword. The special attack deals damage up to 250% and requires 50% special energy or adrenaline to activate. The passive effect raises the wielder's attack and strength levels by 1 each time and up to a maximum of 10% of the wielder's level. So for instance, at level 99 attack, 10% of 99 is 9.9, so the passive effect can boost attack up to 108 at maximum. Next up is Bandol's Godsword. The special attack deals damage up to 200% and applies a non-visible defense debuff to target as well as lowering their defense stat. Can also lower other combat stats with successive special hits. Requires 100% special energy or adrenaline to activate. The passive effect decreases the target's level in defense by 1 if they are 90% of their defense level. Also applies a non-visible defense debuff to target. Can also lower other combat stats and apply a debuff to them as well. Third is the Serotonin Godsword. The special attack deals damage up to 175% and recovers 50% of damage dealt to health and 2.5% to prayer. Requires 50% special energy or adrenaline to activate. The passive effect heals 3% health and restores 3% prayer of the wielder's maximum level. So at level 99 prayer and constitution, 3% of 99 is 2.97 or 29 health in prayer. Lastly in the set is Zamorak Godsword. The special attack deals damage up to 175% and freezes the target for 10 seconds. Requires 60% special energy or adrenaline to activate. The passive effect will freeze the target for 5 seconds and apply a 5-second cooldown on abilities. With each of the 4 Godswords, I went ahead and did some testing with their special attacks and passive effects to work out details which is of better use overall. On Legacy mode, all Godswords have a base damage of 223 at 99 strength, and on Evolution of Combat, they have a base ability damage of 1460. Now onto the analysis of Armadyl Godsword. Using Armadyl Godsword on Legacy, the highest damage I achieved was 467 with an all attack using no boost. The highest hit with the special attack I achieved was 630 with no boost. At a base damage of 223 and a special hit of 630, the special damage equates to 283%, which is much higher than the stated description of the Armadyl special attack. On Evolution of Combat, the highest damage I achieved was 5228 with a critical, and the highest without a critical is 3721, and the special damage equates to 358% and 255%. Looking at the percentage numbers, Legacy seems much lower than on Evolution of Combat. This is not necessarily true due to the fact that Legacy has a much higher damage output in comparison to Evolution of Combat. The reason for this is the time interval between attacks is slower on Legacy than using abilities on Evolution of Combat. If, from testing, 358% special hit with a critical was obtained on Evolution of Combat, then it is possible to reach 358% on Legacy. 358% of base damage of 223 is 798. According to the Runescape wiki, the special can deal up to 372% damage. On the other hand, with Armadill's passive effect, I was able to determine that the special effect was much less of an impact than special attack. In Legacy, at 99 attack and strength, the passive effect raises to a maximum of 108 respectively. However, the boost can take quite a few hits before capping out and does not stack with combat boosting potions. On Evolution of Combat, abilities seem to activate the passive effect much more quicker and faster in comparison to Legacy. The ability Dismember in particular hits bleed damage over a 6-second interval, and chances are more likely to occur, though not always. Effect still remains 25% to activate. This results in the passive effect being less useful and desirable than the special attack counterpart due to the fact that the boost does not stack with combat potions and takes a while to activate. Now onto the Saradomin Godsword analysis. Using the Saradomin Godsword in Legacy, the highest damage with an all attack I achieved was 463. However, unfortunately, I was unable to obtain a high damage with the special due to bad luck, though not all is lost. With the special hit, I obtained 371 damage with 185 life points healed and 92 prayer restored. This proves true to the 50% health heal and 2.5 restoration to prayer. On Evolution of Combat, the highest damage I achieved was 3,792 with a critical and 3,249 damage without a critical. This calculates to 260% and 223%, which is much higher than the description of the Godsword. According to the Runescape wiki, the special can deal up to 270% damage. In contrast to the special attack, the passive is much more useful than it appears. Despite only healing 3% of maximum health and restoring 3% of maximum prayer, this proves to be a bit more consistent. On Legacy, the effect can take quite a while to activate in comparison with Evolution of Combat. Due to being able to deal more hits with abilities, the chances of activating the passive is much more beneficial. Although upon activation, the healing and prayer restoration will always be 3% of maximum level regardless of how much damage was dealt. So in terms of special attack or passive effect goes, the choice is determined depending on the situation. Would having an over time smaller consistent healing be better, or would a higher instant healing prove more significant? In situations such as using Drygores as main weaponry, so the Saradomin special would be more favorable, or using Saradomin passive on Slayer coupled with a Bunyip making food negligible. Now onto analysis of Bando's Godsword. When using Bando's Godsword in Legacy in Evolution of Combat, I was unable to reach a highest damage. However, with the results from the special attack effect and passive effect, this proved to be more vital. On Legacy, I was able to hit 513 damage with the special attack, and defense was lowered from 99 to 66, so 33 levels decreased. This equates to 230%, which is much more higher than the description of the Godsword. In Evolution of Combat, I was able to hit 3,987 with the special attack, and defense was lowered from 99 to 74, so 25 levels decreased. This equates to 273%. According to the Runescape wiki, the special can deal up to 313% damage. The results this time proves that the special attack is much more useful than its passive effect. Even though both effects lower defense and applies a non-visible debuff to combat stats, the special attack proves to be significant due to having a higher defense drop based off damage. Lastly is the Zamora Godsword analysis. Like previously mentioned, I was unable to achieve a highest damage, however the special attack and passive was more important to note. On Legacy, I was able to hit 367 damage with the special attack and added with a 9-second stun. This equates to 165% damage, which is under the 175% of the description of the Godsword. On Evolution of Combat, I was able to hit 3,708 damage with a special attack and a 9-second stun. This equates to 254% damage, which instead is higher than the description of the Godsword. Despite having achieved a lower damage output on Legacy, I was able to achieve a higher one on Evolution of Combat. According to the Runescape wiki, the special can deal up to 270% damage. So in comparing the two, special versus passive effect, both have their merits depending on the situation when using them. The special attack can be instant immediate freeze for that duration of time for 10 seconds and can be useful for escaping an enemy in PvP or binding an enemy from escaping in PvP. The passive attack may not stun immediately, however it has an overtime freeze, though much shorter than the special attack. Not only does the passive effect have a freeze, it also adds a 5-second cooldown to using abilities, which is very useful in PvP battles. One thing to note is that the freeze does not reapply each time or add on top of the existing freeze if the passive activates before the stun ends. On the other hand, the cooldown to abilities does reapply a 5-second cooldown if the passive activates before the cooldown ends. This proves to be quite powerful if it can prevent opponents from striking back damage. To summarize everything that has been discussed about the Godswords, I will repeat myself for further clarification. Armadillo Godsword, use a special attack over the passive. Saradomin Godsword, either or depends on situation, both is good. Vandal's Godsword, the special attack over the passive. Zamorak Godsword, either or depends on situation, both is good. So that concludes my analysis on Godsword's passive versus special attack, and as always, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.